Cradle, Dogs of Fount, Chapter 17. The last bell of the day was still echoing down the hallway as Porter stepped out of Mr. Richards' class. He walked up to Miss Whitaker's door and watched as her students came out. Finally, Inez walked out the door while chatting with Hank Hilbeer, which was pronounced Hilbeer. It tripped Porter up sometimes and always reminded him to try picking up a second language. "Hey, Port," Inez greeted. "See you later, Hank." Inez bumped her shoulder into Porter's chest and smiled close enough to feel her breath. "Inez, stop it," Porter joked. "Are you going to student government tonight?" she asked. "No, I'm going to Glen Hill with a friend," Porter answered. "Really? That's kind of far. How are you going to make it there?" she asked, focused. "This guy, Taj, is picking me up." "This guy has a car?" Inez looked a bit apprehensive. "Yeah, he's 16. He's cool. I met him a couple weeks ago by the comic shop." "Does Stan or your dad know about this?" Porter stopped walking just before they reached the main steps going to the first floor, arbor hallway. He looked at her densely annoyed. "Inez, he's cool, okay? It's annoying when you get like that," Porter said as he finished. Started down the tile stairs. "Okay, Porter, you really need to talk to somebody, you know." Porter cut his eyes at her and shook his head. "Okay, do you want to hang out tomorrow or something?" she asked as they stopped at the bottom of the stairs and got out the way of the other children. "Yeah, cool, I'll meet you after school tomorrow," Porter said, walking off down the arbor hallway with the green-tinted atmosphere. Inez always went the opposite way, past the auxiliary cafeteria. Outside by the main driveway, the parents were lined up to pick up their kids. The younger ones were jubilant, screaming and running towards the Omnis, Towers, or Dysons. The school buses were in the more convenient spaces for the kids, and there Porter saw more of the rougher-looking kids, which isn't saying much because this was Dearden, the intellectual capital of Fount. Todd said he had an old blue Omni. It was a star, not a hero, but Porter always thought stars were okay. All being considered, this situation was a little weird. Porter knew he won those kids' respect, but to hang out with an 11-year-old was not normal to say the least. Within the span of 8 minutes, Porter almost concluded to just get on the bus and go home, twice. The second time, he saw Taj pulling up and walked toward the star. Taj spotted him and stopped behind one of the older-looking buses with the rounded ends on the roof. Porter opened the door to the car, and it squeaked slightly, and when he sat, the black leather seats were noticeably worn. Other than those things, the car was kept well and neat, unlike the other teens' cars he had been in. "What up, Port?" Todd said, and they dapped. "What's up?" Porter responded. "Crap, let's get out of here, huh? You eat yet?" "Not since lunch." "You want to stop by Chicken Shack?" Taj asked. "Yeah, cool." Taj pulled out the driveway and gained speed up to the stop sign at the end of the campus. Porter glanced out the window to see if he could catch sight of Inez heading home. He didn't see her. Taj turned west on Taylor Avenue towards Wacker Highway, which was just a wide road with 3 lanes on each, the westbound and the eastbound side. "What those fools teaching history today?" Taj asked. Porter thought it was a weird question. What teen cares about what they are teaching kids in school? "Probably trying to suck up to those damn savages, gay liberals," Taj went on. They were on Wacker Highway now, and Porter guessed he was heading to the Chicken Shack by the bridge on Kemp Street, near Alice Ave, which led to Tetra. It made Porter wonder if Taj was from Tetra, or what slang dubbed the Pills, which was the poorest town in Fount. Porter didn't really care either way, but he would keep his eyes open. "Damn, I hope my wallet is in there," Taj said and reached over to open the glove box. Without even really snooping, Porter saw a shiny nickel-plated pistol in the glove box, and his breath caught in his throat. Taj saw his wallet inside. "Good. I have to go home now," Porter exhaled. "What's up, man? What's going on?" Taj was genuinely confused. "Look, I just need you to pull over and let me out," Porter demanded. "Oh crap, was it the gun? I told you the club had a shooting range. What did you think we'd be shooting?" "I thought they would give you the—" "Never mind, just let me out, man," Porter insisted. "Dude, you really don't trust me? Look, I'm cool, man. Really, I got your back." Taj looked sincere. "I'm looking out for you like a friend. Anyone messes with you, they gotta get through me and my boys. See that?" Taj pulled over to the shoulder of the highway and stopped. Porter got out with his head down and closed the door and started walking towards the next intersection, which was about a half a mile away. Only thick shrubs and a drainage incline bordered the highway. After walking for about 30 seconds, Porter looked back and saw that Taj was still waiting to merge back onto Wacker. The traffic was heavy. It felt like a gut feeling, but he did trust Taj and thought that he might be overreacting a bit. Porter started jogging back and waving so Taj could see. Taj flashed his brights twice and pulled back into the shoulder a little more. Porter got in. "My man!" Taj raised his hand and they both dapped. "I'll pay for your chicken shack. Don't worry about it." "Thanks." They finally found a gap and pulled into the flow of traffic. Porter still wasn't sure, but he felt life pulling him on. The chicken fingers and salty fries satisfied him, and he felt relieved as they pulled up to the clubhouse in Glen Hill. Glen Hill was sparse as far as architecture was concerned. The buildings usually filled the gap between expanses of trees, grass fields, and a couple of creeks that ran down from the top of the hill, which gave the town its namesake. From under green creeping vines on the side of the front door of the clubhouse, Porter read, Chapter 9th Sons of Fount, Glen Hill Division. Porter wasn't aware of the group with such a name, but it seemed rather official to him in contrast to what he thought of Taj so far. Taj parked and cut the power of his Omni Star. He went to the glove box and pulled out his pistol. Porter got out of the car and caught a glimpse of Taj concealing his pistol. "Come on." Taj started walking toward the door. "You'll see, it's kind of cool here." Porter followed Taj into the building through the bold red door. Inside, the clubhouse smelled like it had history. It had a musk of wood and what could have been aftershave. There were 3 teens sitting at a table talking and flipping through magazines. They nodded at both Taj and Porter and went back to lounging. There were posters of old maps of Fount yellowing and the text was fading. There was a poster of the bust of Oliver Tesla in a prominent area near the middle of the wall on Porter's left. Tesla was a militaristic founder of Fount. He was one of the 4 founders and not a popular one to teach in low schools because of the bloody massacre he led against the peaceful pagan sect that would not leave the land, which was now Tetra, which many in Fount these days viewed as ironic. Taj led Porter to a door in the back of the lounge and into darkness. Momentarily, Taj flipped the switch and a neat and manly-looking shooting range appeared. There was about 6 stalls, all with counters of sorts for your guns and ammo. On the wall to the left, hanging on hooks, were dozens of pistols and a few rifles, and Porter saw one submachine gun, which was the term he learned from a comic. "Which one do you want?" Taj asked. "We're not using yours?" Porter asked. "No, it's a piece of crap. I have to shoot it a few times to see what I have to fix." "That one," Porter pointed to a black 9mm that was angular and slightly snub in the barrel. "Good choice, Port." Taj grabbed it and opened the cupboard under the racks and took out 1 box of bullets. Taj set the gun up for Porter and used the pulley system for the hanging target. "Now point the gun at the target. Don't lock your elbows, but try to extend straight. You want to line up the target bead on the tip with the gap in the back. You know that. Now, when you're ready to shoot, just place the bead a little above where you want to hit. All right, now go." Porter's heart was beating fast and he could feel his forehead getting slightly slick. He pulled the trigger and the pistol barked tightly. He looked at Taj with a stupid smile and Taj gave him a thumbs up. "Go, shoot again," Taj said. After Porter was done with the first clip, he started to really appreciate the way all the stress seemed to evaporate. He emptied 3 more clips and started to get the hang of how to aim. Taj had spent some time in another stall trying to work on his pistol from the glove box. They cleaned up the shells and put the guns and ammos back like they had just come from a workout at the gym. Taj cut the lights and they went to the lounge. "What up, Jess?" Taj called out to the teen in a black polo sitting on the table. Jess nodded to him and drank from his can of cola. "Miles," Taj greeted and they dapped. "Tim," they dapped. "Yo, this is my boy Porter. He's cool. I know he's a squirt, but he's got balls." "What's up, youngin?" Jess greeted. "You're like 4 years older than me," Porter answered. "Damn," Taj exclaimed and they all laughed. Miles smoothed his thin mustache and asked, "You're not from the Pills?" Nah, he's from Dearden, Taj answered. Tim, with the red baseball cap, shook his head. Let him speak for himself, man, Tim said. You ain't a nerd. I'm not stupid either, Porter answered. All the teens laughed again. Taj pulled out a seat and urged Porter to sit. You guys like the youth scouts? Porter asked while sitting on the thinly cushioned chair. A cooler version, Jess said. We're patriots, and that's it. What do you do? Porter asked. Our sponsors send us on missions. We try to spread the word about our duty to save and build this world and shut up the Heap supporters. Porter was beginning to feel a little uncomfortable but interested because they now seemed to have a purpose other than being a-holes. Miles laughed. He's like, what did the Heap ever do to us? Porter gave Miles a hard stare and Miles sneered at him, challenging him. You don't know me. You don't know what the Heap did to me. Porter's voice crested at the end. It was awkwardly silent for a few moments. I sneaked out that night when they bombed us. My goddamn family was looking for me. I was 10 out after midnight by myself. My mom was, his lip quivered and he broke down for a moment. My mom was driving around looking for me and a bomb fell right on her car. Porter started sobbing, but he saw Tim and Taj tear up and wipe their eyes, embarrassed. Effing trash, those sons of, Miles said with a deep frown on his face. Well, this is a perfect day to get some crap done, Jess interjected. I got the eggs, boys. We're hitting that pervert Dole's house. Porter tried his best to sound normal again, but scratchingly asked, who was Dole? He was a teacher in Midport that did stuff to one of his students. She was just a girl, just a little older than you, Jess explained. Piece of crap. But the sun's still out, Porter said. Do you honestly care right now? Jess asked. Jess had indeed threw the first egg, and soon Porter had joined them, laughing and aiming his eggs at the windows in the shady front lawn. They soon ran out of eggs and started to head back for their cars. Porter spotted a brick by the garden under the large tree in the middle of the yard. He was now the only one still on the lawn. He walked up close to the living room window and looked down at the red brick and then at his new friends by the curb. He tossed the brick with a good amount of effort and smashed in the window. As he walked to Taj's car, he couldn't tell if they were laughing or if they were scared, but he kept his pace of a casual walk and felt just one bit of his mom reach heaven.